Hello and welcome back to my workshop where I'm still building my Tiger 1 late variant from Armortek 1:6 scale Second World War German tank. I've sort of stopped the main build now because there's not much more to do. I've got a bit of cleaning and prepping before I paint the turret and the barrel. And I've got a few detailing things that I want to go over with you guys at another session. But I've now started to look at the detailing, painting of all the tools and accessories that go on top of the main tank's hull. And actually this is one of my favourite parts. It's what I've been doing for a long time and really enjoy it. So I've started in earnest, so to speak. So I've already prepped the jack block and I've just sort of started weathering the detail on that so it looks as if it's been used. I've given these the rods their first coat, and I've turned the ends here to accept, because these don't fit in here unless you do that. So you'll need to just, I just use my belt sander to just turn that down a bit. I don't have a lathe, but it's just as good. So I'll carry on working on these to give them a much more sort of used or older look. Then I've got all the tools. What I've done is I've given them all a bit of a first coat of primer. I've got an airbrush, but I'm not using it in this case. I'm just going to use my series of brushes. I think the detail requires that. And then finally the M34 machine gun holder, which goes on the cupola. This is from Armortek. Really nice little kit, really nicely articulated. So that needs to be primed, painted, and then eventually put onto the tank. So that's my plan for this particular session. I'm going to probably speed up the whole process so that I don't bore you too much, but it'll give you an indication of what I do. So basically, make sure you've got a nice set of like detailing brushes, which I tend to use at various different grades. A couple of pots of water just to wash out your paints. I use acrylic paint, and I use various different manufacturers. It doesn't really matter, but acrylic paint seems to be the best option. And then just gradually work through the detailing. And if you're not happy with it, you can go over it again. It's not an issue. And then we'll just try and brush in some detailing to give it a look, like a used look or an aged look rather than brand new. Which I guess goes against the grain of what I'm talking about on the main tank. But I want these tools to look as if they've been, used. And so that's it. We'll carry on. So it's a lovely day today, and I thought what I would do is, while I'm waiting for the paint to dry on the tools, is tackle a concern I have with this turret. Obviously what you have on the factory supplies, the Armortek kit, is this plate here that connects this turret together, which we saw in a previous session. But obviously what happens here, this is squared off rather than flush to the side of the turret, and in the real tank this wouldn't be the case. And it's bothered me a bit, and I have done a bit of research, and I'm right in thinking that these really need to come off. I've already done one side and I'll try and show you that by turning this over. Oh, there is a lump now. So I've basically grind these down with my Dremel and a cutting disc. I have a bigger grinder, but I'm concerned that it's too big to tackle something like this. So this is a little bit laborious, but it's worth the effort. So that's now I haven't ground it down so it's completely flush, because I think in the real tank you'll get a weld joint around here. Now I'm not doing all the welding details on it, but I think I might just sort of put a bit of filler around there and just sort of make it look as if it's meant to be. So that's slightly proud, but it's now running, if you like, parallel to the main turret. So back again. Now the time to do this is before obviously you clean it and paint it. So goggles obviously at the ready, and I'm going to start So that's both sides done. I'm really pleased with that. I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to look as if it's a piece of old steel, because if you look at record information of these tanks, or even go and see some in the museums, they're exactly like that. They're not perfect. Nothing's perfect. So these are forged and made by hand in the factories. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I did not want these things sticking out because it just looks odd. So now that's done, I'm going to get back to painting.
Will you take my hand? I need you now, more than ever. You are my northern light, you shine through the night. The sun could go down, it don't matter. I need you now, more than ever, more than ever. I need you now. I need you now, more than ever.
So that's the static build of the tank virtually complete now. So I'm now going to move it from my table lift back onto my workbench, just so that I can do some final tweaks. So it's a very easy process. This table lift in particular is a particularly good one. It's a 300 kilo rated, and this allows me to elevate the tank into position, making sure it's at the same height. It's almost there, and gently move towards my bench. Put the brakes on. Now the motorcycle jack that's underneath this I've now released, and I'm just going to encourage this off the table lift onto my bench. And you can see it rolls nicely into position. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that motorcycle jack back underneath, elevate it so it doesn't inadvertently, just drop the table lift, so it doesn't inadvertently roll off my bench. So this will just slide underneath, a little bit of encouragement. Using my ratchet, just elevate it ever so slightly, just so that it's not going to accidentally roll off the bench. So that's there, it's not going to go anywhere now. So that's it. Let's move that out of the way. As you can see, I've now attached a lot of the detailing to this part of the tank. All the tow cables are on, all the tools that you saw me painting earlier on are now attached to the tank. I've got the machine gun stand on now attached to the cupola, and an MG34 machine gun which I got from Dragon, which is a supplier of 12 inch scale, 1:6 scale figures, World War II figures, and I've opted for the metal gun belt. I'll do a bit of tweaking on that when I get my figures eventually positioned in the tank. So I've just wired up the main barrel support inside here for the time being, just so I can make sure that when I spin this around it doesn't clash with anything. It's all very loosely put together up here for now, and I will eventually take all this off when I start getting it or bringing it to life. So I've gone ahead and I've put some decals on onto the tank, pretty accurate, I guess, to what should be on the tank. The only other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put there's a little buffer that goes on the end of one of these barrels, these cleaning rod barrels, which just mimics what they would use in the real tank. So virtually I'm done as far as the static build is concerned. I'll give you a bit of a tour around the tank in a sec, but I really enjoyed this build. It's been an incredible journey. I'm now just waiting for the option packs to turn up, and once I get into that, then obviously that gets a bit more complex with the wiring and connecting it all up, putting the right batteries in and transmitter, and eventually seeing this wonderful thing come to life. But you know, as far as the static build is concerned, really enjoyed it. And as you know, there's been a few little just not hiccups, but you know, little just challenges which I got over. Most of the time just following the instructions from the Armortek manual gets you there. And I'd just say, you know, again, patience and perseverance. And when it comes to actually painting the tank, I mean, I've given this is pretty much finished, but I know that I'm going to have to touch it up in places, because as and when I remove all this to get all the main components in all the option packs to get the tank operational, it will eventually sort of chip, and I'm sure it will. So I'm quite prepared for that, and I'll just touch that up. So that's it. Really enjoyed it. I'm just gonna carry on and just do the sort of little the end of this barrel, which is this tiny little piece from Armortek. I'm just going to do a bit of weathering on that, and then that'll actually eventually just be attached to the end of one of these little barrels. And then, and as far as that's concerned, that's all I can do at this stage. I've done a dry run with the tracks. Everything seems to be working fine. And again, sort of kind of sad I've come to the end of this. Really enjoyed it and looking forward to the next stage. I just thought before I give you a bit of a tour of the tank, I almost forgot to tell you how I got on with this barrel. So don't you remember when we first looked at this barrel, the Armortek supply kit comes with a plastic bush, which is fine, I guess, but I wanted it to be brass. And now I managed to find the right brass bush. I've machined this down using my belt sander with the paint, and now you can see it moves beautifully and smoothly. So when that is part of the recoil system, this will work as it's supposed to do. So well worth the journey, I think, of finding the right bush. Again, you know, it's your personal preference. I just wanted brass rather than the plastic. I think the plastic would be suitable. But even if you use the plastic one, make sure that you rub this barrel down or smooth the barrel down so that you get that smooth transition between that. So obviously when that's in the tank and the recoil system's attached to it, you want that recoil to be moving smoothly. So now I'm just going to show you a brief tour around the tank, and that'll end my video for today, and I'll catch up with you as soon as I've got the option packs and we can start getting this thing brought to life. And again, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope I've helped. I hope that if I've inspired you, hope I haven't bored you too much. And if you do find yourself watching this video and feel that you need some more advice, please don't hesitate to drop me a quick note, and I'll do what I can to help you. I'm not an advanced builder. I'm just a novice, but I've enjoyed this whole journey immensely. It just goes to show, with a little bit of skill, a little bit of background knowledge, the right kind of tools. Primarily the key for me, space. Make sure you've got space, but with all of that, if you've got all of that, then there's no reason to think you can't achieve the same as I've achieved, and so I wouldn't be scared of it. So think about your finances, think about your space, think about the time, be patient, and you'll do it. So once again, I'm Tony. I've just built this tank, and I'll see you when I bring it to life. Thumbs up or subscribe if you like this. See you again soon. Thanks, bye.